Hey guys, just wanted to remind you that this is part 2 of our Supernatural Pet special. So if you haven't seen the first episode, please go ahead and do so. Otherwise, feel free to continue on and enjoy. Thanks guys for tuning in.
The Tale of Unsinkable Sam. During World War II, the European theater witnessed its fair share of naval warfare. European theater? Okay, what? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because there's the Pacific Theater and the European Theater.
What the fuck is that? Like
The
actors?
the fronts. There was
They're called theaters?
Yes, there were the theaters of war. Yes.
Never fucking heard that before. I was a history major. All right. During World War II, the European theater witnessed its fair share of naval warfare. Destroyers, cruisers, battleships, carriers, and corvettes, just like the cars, which were...
That's what you get, you smart ass.
Oh my god, I hate you, dude. And corvettes, which were small anti-submarine vessels, not little sports cars made by General Motors. Bye. Love you. Were all used to secure the seas around the continent. Sadly, many of those who fought aboard these ships in the name of their country would ultimately be condemned to a watery grave. For those unfortunate souls, there would be no second chances. However, the same cannot be said about a cat named Unsinkable Sam. Let's get into the tale of the cute little feline.
So, before you continue, do you know this story at all?
No.
Really? Okay.
I think you told me a gist of it, though.
All right. Fair enough.
The black and white tuxedo-colored feline started his maritime career aboard a battleship called the Bismarck. For those of you who are up to snuff on your World War II history, you'll immediately identify this ship as a member of the Kriegsmarine Fleet, aka Nazi Germany's Navy. So technically Sam started his life on the seven seas as a member of the Axis powers. But you know what? He probably didn't get conscripted. He's just a cat hitching a ride, dude. You know, he's an innocent little naval, what do you call it, passenger. He's just booking voyage, dude.
No one was innocent.
He was trying to get out of Nazi Germany.
With the fighting forces.
Dude, people hitch rides all the time. Have you not seen, like, they're called stowaways. Anyways.
Sure. Okay.
I will not defend myself to you. Named after Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, the Bismarck first launched on Valentine's Day of 1939, and for 2 years it would sea battle, and along with it, so would the house cat. Ship cat? Unfortunately, for everyone aboard the ship, fate would rear its ugly face during the Battle of the Denmark Strait on May 26, 1941. During this conflict, the ship sustained multiple torpedo hits from Allied forces, which ultimately resulted in it becoming unmaneuverable. At this moment, Admiral Gunther Lütjens realized that this was the end of the road. Unable to do little more than go in circles, the Admiral said the following through the ship's loudspeakers. Ship unmaneuverable. We will fight to the last shell. Long live... I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. You can put that in subtitles. I'm not saying that.
I'll bleep it out.
Yeah. Soon after this announcement, artillery cannon fire sunk the ship. After everything was said and done, 2,082 men would lose their lives.
It's a lot of people dead floating around.
Sam would not be one of them. And you know what? 2082, that might be on par with how many... Like, I know the biggest loss of life at sea was the American one. What was it called? The USS Indianapolis.
How many was that?
Because a lot of people... Oh, you know what? No, I think the thing with the USS Indianapolis was that it was the largest, like, shark...
Oh, like attack kind of thing?
Like, shark kind of attack, because, like lots of people died to sharks.
I could be wrong. Wasn't the Indianapolis like one where like people like were going through like the propellers in the back, which further like attracted like the sharks and stuff?
I don't know the specifics around it. I just remember that it happened late at night, I think.
That sucks. That is
Okay. So they had less on board. They only had like 1,190 on board, but I think only like 300 survivors or something like that.
it's kind of I don't know why this is crazy to me, but when there's like a massive shipwreck in the middle of the ocean, it's always crazy to me like how many people actually do survive.
Well, it's really not that many.
I mean, 300 people falling into the Pacific Ocean or Atlantic. I don't know which ocean.
Out of
was.
like that's the Pacific, yeah.
Okay, so like, but the fact is, like, yes, I get it. You have 1,000 people, 700 die, 300 people survive. That's still 300 people that treaded the water long enough without drowning, getting tired, getting taken out by a shark, or any other crazy thing.
I guess it's famous because the USS Indianapolis was the ship that delivered parts of the atomic bombs that would be dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Ah, okay.
And another cool little history fact, the Bismarck is partially famous because Robert Ballard, the sea explorer that found the Titanic, also found this ship. So he's kind of like, that's his like MO. He finds lost like ships at sea that have been sunk and been long gone.
What a cool life.
Yeah. Too scary for me. I got thalassophobia or whatever it's called.
Thalassophobia.
Thalassophobia. Just like how you're afraid to take a shower. I'm afraid to go to the ocean. Hours after the sinking of the Bismarck, a British ship named the I'm dyslexic, I guess. Hours after the sinking of the Bismarck, a British ship named the HMS Cossack. Coxsack?
Cossack.
Coxsack.
Sure.
A British ship named the HMS Cossack. Did you say Cossack?
I think it's Cossack.
Was sailing through the wreckage on its way home for repairs and to resupply.
Do you know what HMS stands for?
His Majesty, Her Majesty, something. I don't know.
You're there. It's a lot more. In the last word's a lot more like on the nose than you think.
Her Majesty ship.
Yep. Yeah, that's what it is.
Wonder what USSS is. United States something.
United States ship.
USS meaning United. Oh my god.
These people are boring as hell.
Yeah, dude. There's no. I like HMS, dude. That's so much nicer.
It
Her
is.
Majesty's, dude. Her Majesty's Secret Service. James Bond. As they sailed through the wreckage of the battle, they noticed something that was small, white, and he switched. He defected to the Allies. he was getting out of Nazi Germany.
It's like oh god, what's German for help? I don't know, but he's like, tell me what German for help is.
How do you pronounce it? Helfen.
I mean help.
Help. I mean meow. How do German cats meow? Because like in each language, like you know how we say meow.
Yeah.
Like Japanese people go nyan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's German for meow, basically.
Yeah, like how do Germans like there's a Chinese song I sing, and it's like one of my favorite songs, but it's called Let's Learn How to Meow, and it's about cats, and they go Ichi meow 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 meow. Like they do something like that. Like all right, back to as they sailed through the wreckage of the battle, they noticed something that was small, white, and black clinging onto a piece of wreckage. When they got out their binoculars, they realized that a cat had somehow survived the attack. Frantically, they moved to retrieve and pluck the kitty from the ocean. Obviously, no one knew anything about the cat's previous life because he didn't have papers or a passport, nor how he ended up aboard a German warship. To this day, we still don't know exactly what he was called on that Kriegsmarine vessel. I wonder if he's just like someone's like cat that he wanted to take to sea.
Honestly, there's so
People
many
love cats, man. They want to take him everywhere.
There's so many pets like throughout. There's so many war stories about cats and dogs accompanying soldiers. So he honestly could have
loved their cats.
He could have just snuck on. Like he could have just hopped on. I mean, it's a huge ship. They're not really paying attention to that stuff. They got other things to worry about. So he could have totally just hopped on and been like, "Okay, guys, I'm going with you."
It is speculated. I wonder how he got food. They probably fed him.
Mice, probably, and food.
It is speculated, however, that a seaman, I love seamen, aboard the HMS Cossack named the cat Oscar after the International Code of Signals for the letter O. Is that what it's called? I always called it military alphabet.
So, I mean, technically, there's what you're thinking of, which is probably very similar. This is the naval version. And you're going to see why. So you'll see why O is a little different because O in that, what you're thinking of is.
It's also Oscar.
Is it Oscar? Okay. Yeah. Okay. But, well, keep going.
Fittingly, the letter O is the code for man overboard. Oh,
there you go.
He was a little kitty overboard. Which, as you can probably guess, would go on to continuously apply to the ferocious feline throughout his life. He is ferocious. He survived that stuff. After having pulled a Stalin, aka swapping from the Axis to the Allied power, Jesus, thought we weren't getting political. Oscar was able to enjoy his new. We weren't getting political, and here we are talking about Nazis and Stalin and the Axis and the Allied. Jeez,
it's part of the story, man. It's part of it. It has to be included. I'm withdrawing parts of the story if I don't mention it. I'm sorry.
He was able to enjoy his newfound employment aboard the Tribal-class destroyer for 3 months. Oscar, or now Oscar with a K, the German spelling, would provide moral support for the sailors aboard the ship. For the most part, the Cossacks' missions during this time was to simply provide escort duties in both the Mediterranean and North Atlantic. A very dangerous job when you consider that all these seas were roamed by German U-boats and famously sinking many ships. So it's no surprise that what we're about to see.
Spoiler alert.
Unfortunately, the monotony of it all would end abruptly on October 23rd, 1941. So how it's only been like 6 months since he was at, right?
Yeah.
May to October. So that's like what? May to June, July, August, September, October, 5 months. Like most other days, on this day, the Cossack was once again in the process of providing escorts for a convoy. This time around, it was on its way to Gibraltar. And while sailing across the Atlantic, the destroyer was struck by a single torpedo fired by a German U-boat. While it didn't initially sink, the boat was in rough shape to say the least. Initially, the ship received a tug from another boat, and this worked for a few nautical miles. Unfortunately, as destiny would once again intervene in Oscar's life, a horrendous storm began to brew around the retreating fleet. Ultimately, this would prove too much for the Cossack, and the boat was that was attempting to tug it. Because of this, the Cossack was disconnected from its tether and cast to the murky depths of the sea. And sadly, 159 sailors would lose their lives in this tragedy.
So it's a little less than the last time.
But not our boy Oscar. Oscar would not be meeting Davy Jones anytime soon. And that's really what's important here. As long as the cat survives. It's like when I'm watching a horror movie. I don't care about the humans. Does the cat survive? As long as the cat survives.
I feel cats usually survive in horror movies.
Oh, there was one where it didn't, and it really triggered me.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I forgot what movie it was.
It's the one where they're in a house and they're like trapped, and I think it's the same one. There's like a cat that gets stuck on like glue, and the guy tries to like rip the cat off, and he finally does, but it's too much force. He throws the cat like into another trap, and it dies. I was very depressed.
I have not seen that one. Jeez.
It was so depressing. And it wasn't like supposed to, it wasn't being done to be funny. It was being done to be, oh my God, he saved it. And then,
I don't know that one.
Yeah, man, I can't remember what that was. It was a crazy movie, though.
That sounds gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
Don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't want to watch it again either.
Miraculously, Oscar was yet again found clinging to a buoyant piece of wreckage. This time around, however, it would be the HMS Ark Royale that would save the plucky cat. From there, Oscar was brought ashore once the vessel made it to Gibraltar. Ironically, the Ark Royal was heavily involved in the attack on the Bismarck, his previous ship. But back on dry land, the story of the courageous cat spread across the port and eventually was picked up by some British naval officers. Eventually, they put two and two together and realized that this was the same cat that had already been saved by the British fleet once before. And because of his resiliency and determination when it came to sinking ships, he was promptly renamed Unsinkable Sam. I hope they gave him a medal, a war medal.
He didn't. I don't think he ever got a medal, but
I would have given him
he
like
gets
the
something.
Purple Heart or whatever.
He gets something at the end.
Spoilers,
that commemorates
Austin.
him.
After some repairs and resupplying, the HMS Ark Royale was once again put back to work and launched back out into battle. This time with Sam aboard. Oh, they sent him back out there on the front lines.
They need him, man.
Unlike Sam's previous maritime homes, it's weird because sailors are a very superstitious bunch. So
yeah, they are.
I'm surprised they deemed him unsinkable, like as opposed to being like superstitious and being like, oh, whatever ship he's in is going to sink.
Yeah, he's bad luck kind of thing. Because it's not like everyone's surviving around him. If that was the case, it'd be like, okay, great. Yes, to sink ships, but everybody survives. No, he has a body count of almost like 3,000 people, right now. 2,500 people almost right now.
If there's ever going to be a pet that overthrows humanity, I'd want it to be cats.
I think it would be cats, to be fair.
I would serve them.
There is I think I talked about it a little bit in our last episode. Yeah, it's definitely talking about the Denver airport. That cartoon on Netflix talked about where it's called Inside Job, and it's like all about like a shadow government and stuff running the world. There's towards the end of the second season before it got canned. Basically, this guy, like this Secret Service guy, is told like you have to kill the dog because he somehow found someone engineered him to have thumbs. And they're like, if you don't kill him, dogs are going to take over humanity because they have opposable thumbs now. And he like doesn't do it. So he goes like back in time to do everything but kill the dog. And it just doesn't work out very well.
So dogs run the world.
For a little bit, and then he changes it.
Unlike Sam's previous maritime homes, the Ark Royale was actually pretty lucky for most of its life, and was actually dubbed the Lucky Ship. According to some historians, the aircraft carrier had multiple near misses and was even incorrectly reported by the Germans as having been sunk. Finally, it appeared that Sam had found a lucky one and a permanent place in this crazy world. Ugh. While there's no way to read a cat's mind, we would like to think that at this moment that he was asking himself the following questions. Was he going to spend the rest of his days with this crew of mates sailing the seas? Maybe he would go on to become a father. Would he retire? Did he have a pension? Before he could ask another question, a torpedo came out of nowhere like John Cena at a WWE match and struck the fuel bunkers and bomb store, thus slicing a huge gash in the hull of the ship. Probably the HMS Ark Royale sunk, and it appeared to answer all of those questions. Would be a resounding no. Was this the end of Unsinkable Sam? Of course not. So 3 ships. If this cat dies, I'm quitting the podcast.
God. I'll be sure to. I'll try to find some sound effects for like John Cena.
You're so stupid.
Oh God.
Oh my God, dude. Oh. Once again, Sam spat in Death's face and told him to go back to hell. Like so I wanted to tell last minute, or something like that. Either way, Unsinkable Sam was once again found floating on a piece of debris. 3 shipwrecks and wow.
Less than a year, right? Yeah.
Well, what you didn't tell me the month.
I did not. I'm actually kind of sad. I really thought, okay, you're right. I did not.
Either way, Unsinkable Sam was once again found floating on a piece of debris. According to his saviors, they claimed that he looked angry but was unharmed. I'd be angry too, dude. I'd be like, stop taking me out here.
It's like, what the hell? I don't like the water. I keep ending up in the ocean.
After his terrifying escapade, it was finally decided that it was time for Unsinkable Sam to retire for his own safety. It is also possible that they were sick of losing ships in the European theater. You know what? Sam's a brave little dude because, like, my cat gets stress from the fire alarm.
Did he kept doing it? He kept going on the ship. He wasn't freaking out.
For all we know, they forced him on the ships.
Have you really ever tried to wrangle a cat? I mean, if it wants to go somewhere, it's going to go, I think.
You can make it go, Austin. Once again, he was brought back to the shores of Gibraltar, But this time, he was allowed to stay in the building of the governor general. Until the end of the war, his only duty would be to hunt the mice in the building. That's nice and leisure right there. Leisure. He's got a cushy office job now.
He
He's no
does. Good
longer
for
in the
him.
field.
He's earned it. He's got his experience.
After the war, he was promptly shipped to a home for sailors in Belfast to properly retire. Here, he would spend the rest of his days receiving all kinds of scratches, scritches, and pets from those he served alongside in the heat of battle. For Unsinkable Sam, this would be permanent home, and in 1955, he would peacefully pass away in his home amongst his family. Today, he is honored by a portrait in the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich. The caption underneath reads the following. The caption underneath reads the following. Oscar the Bismarck's cat. There's no denying that Unsinkable Sam had 9 lives. That's 6 more ships. You safely bet that he lived each and every one of those lives to the absolute limit. Not only did he survive 3 sinking ships, but he also had been alive for at least a little while before taking up a life on the 7 seas. While we may not know how he spent his time ashore before all those crazy events, it's probably safe to say that those years were also quite eventful. I guess now that you know the story of Unsinkable Sam, there's really only one thing left to say. Farewell, soldier. Farewell. Cue the taps. Whatever that means.
It's the military tribunal funeral type thing where it's like dun dun dun.
Cue the taps. Take us out, Austin.
All right, guys. So there's your 2 stories about. We'll call this supernatural pets. I mean, one's about a ghost dog, and the other's about a cat that can't die. Apparently, it's on his terms. So yeah, I think both those count as supernatural animals. So that's what this podcast episode will be named. So, anyways, hope you guys enjoy talking about some ghost pets and a cat that doesn't want to die. Basically, this is a story of Puss in Boots, if you kind of think about it.
Oh, I love that movie. Did you see Puss in Boots: The Last Wish?
It is such a good movie. Ironically, I think we talked about this in a podcast already. This movie.
We might have.
But so anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. If you would like to see more, we got about 12 other episodes to watch. And if you want to see us play some spooky video games, you can find us on YouTube at You Go First Gaming. You can listen to this podcast on just about any audio only platform and YouTube. So go ahead, give us a follow, a like, a review, a 5-star, whatever the hell you want to give us. Please go do that. We would love it. Other than that, I don't have much else to plug. And as always, I'm going to ask Fernando, do you have any final thoughts?
Stay spooky.
Stay spooky. Okay, everyone. Well, I'm not going to waste any more time. Have a great night. And like he just said, remember to stay spooky, everyone.
Now get the fuck out of here.